Alright guys, as we make our way around the throttle intersection here, it looks like our top of D is right around the 40-mile mark here, so we'll go ahead and get ready for this approach. Looking at the box here, and take a look at the approach. You'll see, so you're on the 84 nav. I've got Heaven, then Leggett, Gojo, Ahoy, Matey. It says landing to the south, which we will be. Expect 250 at between 11 and 8, and Rocker, and Scallop 230 at 5. Now, in the real world, there is actually a NOTAM for this approach where it says expect 280 at 50. It says to ignore that actually, so just worry about the altitudes. And that was last week, I think, when I flew down there, and I think it's supposed to last, excuse me, I think the NOTAM's supposed to last for a couple of months, so I'm actually going to respect that and not put that 250 limit in there. So all that being said, looks like the approach is in a box there. After Scallop, we should have vectors to Fatty. Let's see, Fatty, you should expect to cross there around 3,000 feet. So we'll go ahead and put the approach in here, 108.5. Now, in the real airplane should be able to tune the front course here, but for some reason it won't let us do that unless we actually have the frequency opened up here. So 108.5, inbound is 187. And let's see, our barrow is going to be 221, so we'll just get this as close as we can here, 220. I'll set that over on the captain's side as well too. We'll go with auto brakes 3. It's kind of our default spot here for the 7.5. Auto brakes 3 and idle reverse tends to work out pretty well here. And last but not least, let's see, we're supposed to be landed with about 9.3. We're about 11.1 right now, so just I'll round it up 2,000 pounds here. So as of right now, seeing our gross weight is 184. So if we just subtract 2,000 from that, it should give us our reference speed here of 186. I'm sorry, 166. So ref of. So what we're gonna do is we usually land at flaps 25, but we use the ref speeds for flaps 30. So I'm actually gonna put flaps 30 here because I think it'll keep those on there. Yeah, we'll just use the ref of flaps 25 ref, but keep these refs for our speeds here. So flaps 25, our ref is going to be 128. Usually we're going to land with +5, and that's the telling us to reset our altitude here, and I'll do that in a second. Going back to what I was saying, yeah, we use a ref of 128 for flaps 25, +5 knots. So technique only, we just like to use this front course up here for our as a reminder of what our reference speed will be on landing. So 133, and we can put 133 on the captain's side as well too. So that'll be our final approach speed, and then it looks like our reference for flaps 30 are set there, so we should be good to go on that side. I'll go ahead and get rid of the let's get rid of this guy here real quick. Put that down, and let's see. That's pretty much it. All we've got to do here is just brief the approach. So pretend that, all right, we'll say they give us a descent via the funnel of the 84 here. So looks like the bottom altitude is, excuse me, Scallop. We'll just go ahead and set 5,000 feet here, so that when we get to the top of D, the aircraft will start descending itself, and it should respect all those altitudes. So we just have to monitor. Alright, so let's go and head and brief this approach here. So NOTAMs wise, apart from the 250 at Matey, nothing else really is going to apply to us for the weather today. Light winds out of the southwest, clear skies, altimeter is 3,000. For the 84, we just got this descend via, so we'll set 5,000, or 5,000 is set there for Scallop. For the approach, expect A visual for 19 right, we'll back it up with the ILS on 24-4, 21-4 rather. Final approach course is 187, frequency is 108.5. Jim Bob is 2,000 feet with the bottoms at 221. Touchdown zone is 21 feet. Min safe is 2,700 feet. If you've got to go miss, the publish is to climb to 500 feet, then climb a right turn to 3,000 feet direct to the St. Petersburg VOR. That is in. That is in the box here, so we can just hit LNAV if we have to go miss there. Otherwise, we can expect to use heading select for the missed approach, and we'll get vectors back to the runway. We've got Malzar. Pappy's on the left side. It is an 11,002 foot runway. Plan for a left turn off, more than likely. Probably Whiskey 3. If we land long, we can make a left turn off at Whiskey 2. Then we've got Whiskey 1 all the way down here at the end. We'll take Whiskey, go over to the E gate somewhere, and that's pretty much it for the arrival. Let's see here. So we are not going to run through the descent checklist until we're about 18,000 feet. At this point, I've already said goodbye to the flight attendants, to the passengers rather. Seatbelt signs would turn on, and yeah. At this point, we're just sitting here monitoring and just making sure that the aircraft doesn't get high or low. And again, VNAV does a pretty good job in this airplane, so we just have to make sure it doesn't get too fast or anything like that. But we'll go ahead and skip ahead and catch up with you guys again once we're a little bit closer to flight level 180. Alright guys, coming up to flight level 180, we'll go ahead and set our altimeters to 3,000. And let's see, throttles are not quite idle yet. Recall. Alright, we'll run through the descent checklist. Altimeters 3000 is cross check. Minimums are barrel of 220 and cross check. Landing data, we are going to go with flaps. You know what? Let's see. Can I delete this? So, in the real airplane, if you were to change the gross weight here, as long as you change the page, it should go back to whatever the default, whatever the current weight is here. But it looks like I actually had to delete it. But anyway, our landing data is going to be flaps 25, ref of 128. That is cross-checked. Approach fin has been completed. Auto brakes to reset. Passenger signs are on. Pressurization panel is set. Recall was checked. Descent checklist is complete. Alright, so we should be crossing 80 here, below 11,000 at least. So coming to 10,000 here, the aircraft should start to slow itself down automatically. There we go. So by default, Boeing sets these airplanes up to have to go to 240 knots and 10,000 feet at 10,000 feet. Now, in the real airplane, we always, well, if you remember anyway, you'll put 250 at 10 here, and it should delete this speed transition here. But seems to have not worked for some reason here, because it's still got 240 knots bugged. I mean, all that being said, it's still respecting the speed limit there at 10,000 feet anyway. So just a little hiccup, I guess, in the and all the zeros and ones there they've got programmed. But coming through 10,000, we are going to ding flight attendant, and we'll set up our, should stay at 50 here. We'll set up our frequency, verify. Actually, we're about to verify anyway, so let's go and run through the approach checklist. Flight nav instruments. Let's see, 1085, 1085, and 1085 is verified. Cabin notification is complete, and altimeters are 3000. Cross check. Approach checklist is complete. Alrighty, there's 5 for 4. Let's go ahead and go to heading mode here and fly a heading of 100. We'll go ahead and extend the center line from Fadden. And let's continue to actually let's slow to 210 knots actually. It's 210. And let's continue our descent down to 3000. So initially I'm going to go ahead and select vertical speed here to 500. And since we are below 10 knots, below our maximum speed of 240 for flaps 1, we'll go ahead and select flaps 1 here. And it's 215, I'll go ahead and select flight level change and slow to 210. Alright, let's turn right here to 120. And make that 140. Alright, speed all cap. Let's see, 205. We'll go and set the flaps to 5 here. Now, for landing here, the fast slow indicator, this little guy over here with the box, is your best friend. I personally like to keep it right here, call it the top half of the fast slow indicator during the approach, and then once we're over the threshold, then I'll just transition to looking outside the runway here, about 100 feet or so, and start my flare usually about between 100 and and 50 feet above the runway here. But let's see, let's go ahead and slow it to 180. And I'll go ahead and arm the loc. Alright, the loc is captured. Alright, so as the glide slope captured here, I'll go ahead and set flaps to 15. And we'll do 180 till Jim Bob here, then we'll slow to RF 128. Alright, the radio altimeter's alive. That's usually my indication for when to put the gear down, so I'll go gear down, flaps to 20. Alright, there's Jim Bob. We'll go ahead and slow down to RF of 128 plus 5. And speed's good. Flaps to 25. Landing checklist. The landing gear is down. Flaps 25, 25, and our speed brake is armed. The landing checklist is complete. Alright, we'll go ahead and disconnect all the valves here. And the autopilot as well. And try not to embarrass myself. Does V clear to land? 100 feet, start slowly going inside and outside the aircraft here. 30 feet, start to round out. Power to idle. Just kind of, oh man, a little bit too much back pressure. And idle reverse, see, speed brakes are up. There's 80 knots. Keep the speed brakes off, or the auto brakes off here, and whoa. And I'll go ahead and start the clock here for the engine cooldown. Let's see where we're at. Probably Whiskey 3. Yep, Whiskey 3. We'll just make a left onto Whiskey and Victor 4. Alright. We'll bring the spoilers up. Flaps up after landing checklist. We'll clear the frequency there. We can bring the trim back to 4 degrees. Auto throttle, or auto brakes rather, off, and we can clear the flight director. And after landing checklist, anti-ice is off, flap levers up, speed brakes down, and radar is off after landing checklist is complete. Let's clear this guy here, so Victor 4 would be second taxiway to the right. Oops. Right, let's turn some lights off here as well too. Oh, and I forgot, but the nose gear light's kind of our indication that we're clear to land, so I should have turned that on at 1,000 feet, but forgot. Alrighty, let's see, you got about a minute down there. Alright, so there is 2 minutes. I'll go ahead and start the APU. It takes about a minute to get it started up here. So by the time it starts up, should be able to turn the engine off for the 3-minute engine cooldown. And let's just go ahead and park straight ahead here. I think this light actually works. It's yep. Alrighty, park and brake set. I'm going to verify by the ICAS message as well as the pressure on the pressure gauge here. And once it's set, we can let you passengers up and shut our engines down here. And then I'll go ahead and turn the transponder off, zero out the code here. And in this case, so all I have to do is turn the engine bleeds on here, or off rather, and APU bleeds. We can turn those on while we're deplaning. And the captain's going to turn the hydraulics off. Just go left to right. Fuel pumps off. Beacon off, and you can open the door here. Alright, run the shutdown checklist. Shutdown checklist. Park and brake is set. Hydraulic panel is set. Fuel pump switches are off. Seatbelt signs off. Engine and answers off. Fuel control switches are cut off. Transponder is standing by. And red anti-collision light is off. Shutdown checklist is complete. Alright guys, that will just about do it for the full flight tutorial video here. Once the external power gets hooked up, we can obviously turn off the APU. We'll turn the packs off, as well as the APU bleed, and we'll leave the isolation valve open, so that's how the panel will stay until the aircraft is essentially ready to depart again, and we'll turn the APU on and turn the APU bleeds on and the packs on. But that's how we'll leave the overhead panel. The only differences that we're going to do now, if we need to turn the airplane around, is we are going to reset the IRSs. We would do that for every leg. And if the pilots are going to switch roles and the FO is going to fly this leg, we would switch the engine start to the second starter. Obviously reset the landing altitude. And that's about it. We would... the only other test that we would do would be the takeoff configuration warning on every flight, and the weather test. We'd make sure that would work on every flight as well too. But apart from that, we would reset the MCP and the radio stack, and that's about it. So in this video, or in a series of videos, we went from cold and dark to engine start, which is a little botched, admittedly. I probably could explain that a little bit better, and just chalk it up to me just being unfamiliar with the RB211s. Same thing with the departure as well too. Didn't derate the engines as well as I could have, and kind of exceeded the limits there. But all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed these videos, and leave a comment if there's any questions you guys had for anything that we did during these 4 videos here. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.